Alright guys, let's talk about virtual for the first time on the channel since this candle right here on June the 11th. Now you can see we do have this large arrow over here. There is actually nothing technical about that. Now I just want to go ahead and say that, but we do need to make a comparison with BNB. Now I do have the chart here, and you can see there was a large run up basically here, and then you have a pullback, guys, and then you have that bounce. Now look at the shape. I mean, really take this and put this in your brain right now and look at this. We have a run up, and then we have that, downwards action here, and now we're getting that little bit of a bounce. So this is a very, very similar pattern. I do believe we're probably about to get that bounce like BNB got. So we're going to see something like this, I do believe. And yeah, I mean, it's nothing technical, but it's basically, a pattern that we've seen before. We can call it a fractal, actually. And yeah, it does need to break, I would say, this, line right here, this blue line. And basically, if we break 252, which is actually a daily resistance, then I do think we're going to see a little bit more upside there. Probably something up to about $3. Now looking at the volume profile, guys, you can see that we are sitting right here and we are in this little volume candle. Now once we get above about this green line, let's say $1.95 or so, the volume drastically goes down. I do think we're going to see virtual kind of surge up at that point, and we're way past the point of control, guys. The point of control is down here at 55 cents. I don't think we need to worry about that anymore. I do think, we are going to take out probably this $1.95 here shortly, as long as we see Ethereum continue to do what it's doing. Now, if we consider the Bollinger Bands, guys, you can see it was very, very narrow down here back in September. Got that large surge up to about $5.20, let's just say. Now, it isn't so narrow at the moment, guys. And actually, this blue line is trying to avoid basically this line down here. So I would say it's not really pinching on a weekly time frame. Now, if we look at the daily time frame, let's see how close it is. Now, it is fairly narrow. It's not as narrow as it's ever been. For example, down here back in April, we got that little bit of a pinch. But it is, actually fairly narrow, but it's kind of going parallel to one another. So I don't want to say it's pinching either on the daily time frame. So on the Bollinger Bands, nothing really yet, I would say. But yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. I would like to see this curve back in, at least on the daily time frame, and come towards each other. The weekly time frame, like I said, guys, still very wide, and it's just kind of avoiding each other by going parallel. So we do need to see these come in and pinch. Now looking at the RSI and stochastic here on a weekly time frame, they're kind of going sideways here. The blue line has crossed the red line though with the stochastic here, so that's actually something positive. Now if we take a look at the daily time frame, a little bit overheated here on stochastic. Now the RSI is going down, so but it is in neutral territory, but it's kind of a mixed signal there, so it's not the best. Now the 4-hour time frame, getting overheated on stochastic, and again the RSI is pointed down, so something like the daily time frame. Now the 1-hour time frame pointed heavily to the downside on both. So in my opinion, guys, just looking at this, long term actually looks good, but these shorter term time frames, I just don't think it's looking that great. I think $1.85 was probably where it's going to stop. I do see maybe some support here at $1.70, so it could pull back about another 5 cents or so. Let me put this on a daily time frame. Yeah, we did get through this $1.70. It may come down to retest this today before it gets that next bounce. Now, $1.85, like I said, it's gotten rejected here. Well, we can say basically 3 or 4 times. These were pretty close, guys, and in like a week. So I do think the more we hit it, the sooner we're going to break it, of course. But yeah, we do need to break that, and then you have about $1.95 on a weekly time frame to break, and then you kind of got that $2 psychological resistance here that is not marked off, of course, and then you have a couple of resistances. You got kind of a zone here between 207 and 210. Now considering the MACD, you can see that we are printing a dark green candle. I know it's really hard to see right there, guys. I can zoom in a little bit more, but yeah, you can see it's dark green. Now, if we look at these lines here, the blue line has not crossed that red line to the downside, so it's trying to avoid it. That is another good sign as well. Now, on the daily time frame, guys, if we take a look at this, you can see that we do have a green period here. Now, we've just come out of a long red period. Basically, you have a couple of greens here, but basically, this was a really long red period. But it does look like it wants to continue to the upside. Now, the all-time high basically for that blue line is up here at about let's say 6.7. So yeah, it's basically right at the neutral level, I would say at 0 almost. And so yeah, it has a ways it can run, guys. So looks like it still wants to run up. So momentum, you know, in my opinion, looks good, at least on a weekly and daily time frame. Now, since about June 22nd, guys, we do have this trend line basically that's been holding us up. So I'm going to put this here for now. Let's see if we can at least maintain that as well. Looking at Virtual's protocol here in tokenomics, guys, basically it's the number 100 coin at the moment, guys. It's only up about 3.5%, but before I started this video, it was about 8 or 9% up. It's getting a little bit of a pullback now because Bitcoin is kind of pulling back at the moment. Now, max supply is 1 billion. Circulating supply is about 65.5% of that. All-time high, guys, it says here at about 507, but I think it did go a little bit higher in Binance. But it's only about 65% down. So at this point in time, guys, I would say that's not bad. Probably it's going to exceed its all-time high. You know, in my opinion, if I have to guess, I'm going to say this is probably about a $20 to $25 coin maximum. But I wouldn't be disappointed, for example, if it got to about 12 to 15. I think that should be a real minimum for this. And yeah, I do think this is one of the premier projects. You can see I'm a little bit down, guys. I have about a $2.31 average here. I'm just slightly down. I'm not really worried about this, guys. I might even pick up a little bit more myself. Now, before I go a little farther in this video, you can claim bonuses on some of my favorite crypto exchanges below, guys. I work with about 10 exchanges. Of course, I do get commission when you use my links, guys. We also have Moodix here. It's a free 7-day trial if you want to sign up for that. And you can follow me on X here, guys. Now, looking at Bitcoin here, we do have 3 daily resistances and supports, basically, that I have added to this chart just recently. Now, there is a $116,000 support here. There's also $117,300 support. And there's a resistance up here at about 120,000. So we're kind of wedged between 117,300 and 120 right now, just kind of bouncing back and forth. But we need to break one way or the other. Now, looking at Ethereum, we are getting a little bit of a pullback right now. It was looking a little bit better right before I started this video, of course. But it did actually seal a candle above 33.61. Now, I have added some more lines to the upside here, guys. Because we were running out of resistances. But basically, yeah, 33.61 is a resistance right now. And yeah, let's see if this just ends up maybe a wick today. It's still a long day. I am making this video at about 10 o'clock at night Eastern time in the US. So that means it's already started the new day according to Bitcoin. You know, so yeah, I think this could end up a wick very easily. And let's see what happens. But it has, you know, for the last 4 days gone up pretty significantly. So maybe it is time for a little bit of a pullback. Maybe it does come back and retest this 32.68. But yeah, and you know, like I said, I'm betting probably on a wick here. Now, total market cap excluding Bitcoin has broken the 1.34 trillion as of yesterday. We are sitting 1.37 trillion at the moment. Next resistance is up here at 1.42 trillion on a weekly time frame. These blue lines are actually monthly resistances. So once we get above 1.43, so we kind of have a little zone here to break through. That's going to be, I think, you know, a little bit easier to move up at least to 1.47. And then you have another monthly resistance up here at 1.51. So we're getting kind of into an area where it's going to be a little bit tough to push through, maybe even from 1.42 to 1.51 really. After that, the next level is 1.62 trillion, and that's, you know, there's a lot of room between that. So yeah, I'm going to say that this area is going to provide probably a little resistance. Maybe next week I would predict that we push through this, honestly. So yeah, we just have to see, guys. Now, the absolute chart of the day, guys, is the Bitcoin dominance. You can see yesterday it crashed through this 3-year trend line and crashed through several supports and is getting rejected at 63.14%. That is an excellent sign, guys, but I'm going to say that this isn't over yet, but we're getting close. Now, 61.76 is a new support. I want to go ahead and point that out because I was talking about 60.46, but I went back and analyzed this a little bit. So we do have this support right here to get through on a weekly time frame. Now, the next would be 60.46. Basically, that's probably when I'll say altcoin season has commenced. Now, another thing we do, I think on a weekly time frame, have kind of an M pattern here. Let me just spread this out so you can see it. So you have kind of an M pattern, and we are breaking that at the moment. So yeah, that is another good sign. So once we break that, I think let's see, the target would be something like this, guys. And that would put this all the way down, yeah, basically at this support. So 60.46 is probably the next stop if we hold this candle right here, at least on a weekly time frame. Now, the second best chart of the day is the USDT dominance, guys. We have broken 4.31%. We crashed through it yesterday. So this is another excellent sign. People are putting their money back into crypto. We do have a little bit of green candle today, guys, but it is getting a rejection right now at 4.31. So let's see if this holds. Next support is down here at 3.8%. The dollar index is 98.42, so it does have a little bit of green candle. Yesterday was a red candle. You know, a weaker dollar means a stronger Bitcoin, and opposite, guys. So keep that in mind. Now, the altcoin season index still hasn't changed, so it's been 39 for a while. I don't know when it's going to change. Probably tomorrow, I guess. We'll get a little bit of an update here. Now, liquidation heat map, you have about 459 million that have been wrecked in the last 24 hours, mostly short, so be careful if you're using leverage, guys. Now, fear and greed, 74 today. Yesterday was a 70, but again, next update in about 22 hours. The bull market peak indicators, guys, still 0 from 30 have been hit, so it's 100% hold at the moment. And the best indicator is the Pi Cycle Top indicator, in my opinion, and many others' opinion. But it's pretty far from crossing, guys, and it's at least several months away from crossing. Now, on the economic calendar tomorrow, we do have core retail sales, we do have jobless claims, we do have Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index, we do have retail sales, and we have a couple of speakers tomorrow, and there is Atlanta Fed GDP now. So we do have, you know, quite a schedule tomorrow, but nothing too major. You know, basically today and yesterday with PPI and CPI was the big numbers. Now, speaking about PPI and CPI, you can see here it was positive. Today was actually 0.11 positive, so that means it's major news. Yesterday, like I pointed out, was 0.1525 positive. So again, there really isn't any, you know, need to hold the rate as it is. Now, on Polymarket, guys, there is a 21% chance and a 19% chance here if Jerome Powell will be out as Fed chair in 2025 and if Trump will try to fire Powell by August 31st. So keep that in mind. That's actually, it went down just slightly today, this afternoon or evening, but I think it's a better chance that he will get fired before that time. So now, crypto bubbles looking pretty good today. You know, in the last hour, not so good, but pretty much week, month, year, all okay. Now, if you want to stake your virtuals, guys, go to Coinondo. There's actually 7 deals that were found, so check those out. Do your homework before you start sending coins around. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, like, subscribe, activate the bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.